So we've seen how we can do some simple SQL injection or SQL injection to use an OR statement to make all of the users true for A equals A. So if their username, if their user ID is 1 or the value A is equal to A, then we're going to get their user information. Let's take that one step further. Let's see if we could get the passwords for each one of these users added in to this query. So instead of 1 or, let's do a union select. A union is a way that we join two queries or two tables or even two databases together. We can union. So we'll do a search for all the users where the user ID equals 1. And then we'll also do a select. We're actually typing in some SQL here. Select user, comma, password from users. We just have to know a few things about the table. You can dig in to find some of those things. In fact, you can find a good tutorial on just DVWA where you can spend hours researching. And you can dig through each one of these little capabilities piece by piece. But we'll come back, we'll say 1 quote space union space select, and we're going to select the user ID or the username, comma, the password from users. And this is going to give us the password hash that we can then use on any website to look those up. And then we'll add a hashtag at the end just in case there are other things off the end of this query. And let's click submit. We got 1 per single quote space union select user comma password from users hashtag, and that put anything else as a comment if it was at the end of the line. Well, let's see what this user comma password did. Well, we got our first user ID 1, admin and admin, but look what we got next. Admin, and instead of a surname, we got a password. So we got the username and password for Gordon, for admin, for Pablo and Smithy. So instead of the username, instead of the first name and last name, we've got the username and password. So you know what we can do with this password hash? We copy one of these. We come to any of the hash cracking sites. We can go to Hash Killer. We can go to MD5 Online. We paste that hash and click decrypt. And of course, that was the hash of password. We knew that because admin's password was password. Well, we can pick a different hash killer like CrackStation. Come back to DVWA and let's select Gordon B's password hash. We copy that. Ooh, pardon me. Of course, there's another md5decoder.org and we can see that it's ABC123 just from doing a Google search. So that one turns out to be ABC123, but let's choose one of our other users, Pablo Picasso. Let's see how hard his password is. Copy it. We'll come to CrackStation and paste it. And we have to do another CAPTCHA. And that took just a quick second. It says that that hash is let me in. So we could use Pablo and let me in as the password if we log in to DVWA. So I'll open it up in another browser. I'll go to 10.0.3.5. Come to DVWA. And let's go back and see that username. That was Pablo. And his password is let me in, so let's try it. Pablo and let me in. And I am in to our darn vulnerable web app as Pablo. Wow. So a little bit of SQL injection allowed us to give the usernames and the passwords. And you can see because these are just MD5 hashed passwords, they're pretty fast and easy to crack. In fact, you can probably tell what Smithy's password is just by comparing it to the admin password. Notice the MD5 hash of both of those is the same. That means we could log in as Smithy. We log out and come in as Smithy and use password. We're logged in as Smithy. So we've already seen that these two main attacks, cross-site scripting and SQL injection, both give us way too much power as an attacker. In the last lesson we're going to see, in the final lesson of this section, we're going to see how to protect our web server from those types of attacks. I'll go ahead and mention one other thing here. If we had a really insecure database, we might even be able to do something like this: 1 semicolon, quote semicolon, drop table users. And this will not work on DVWA, I don't believe, but it will allow us on a really insecure database. This is called a stacked query, where we have one query, semicolon, another query. So if I drop table users, and let me put a hashtag at the end just in case there's any extra stuff at the end of that MySQL command, and click submit, we can say it was still able to pull admin and admin. So drop table users probably didn't work. We can check just by clicking another user ID, C3. So drop table users did not work in this case, but that is a really destructive thing that can happen on a web server if we're not looking for it. Like I said, we'll see how to protect against cross-site scripting and SQL injection in the next lesson.